The teams lined up in front of 60,000 people in Bern, and back in Germany, several million were crowded around their radios, hanging on to every word spoken by commentator Herbert Zimmermann.
Deutschland im Endspiel der Fußball-Weltmeisterschaft. Das ist eine Riesensensation. Das ist ein echtes.
It was to be a game of extraordinary drama, one which would make Zimmermann a legend.
He says this is a proud day for Germany, this is a great day for our country, and we shouldn't be so arrogant to hope that we can actually win this game. It's you know, being here that is the wonderful thing. And I guess that was the general feeling at home.
The Germans had got further than they ever thought possible, but for the Hungarians this was the moment of truth.
Azt azért ki kell mondani, hogy ennek a mérkőzés.
Only one team had anything to lose in this match, and that was the Hungarian team. The Germans could only win.
A németek csak nyerhettek.
We were convinced of our ability. We talked amongst ourselves about the game, and we said we are going onto the pitch, and we want to become world champions.
Once again, Walter and Puskás went head-to-head. And once again, Puskás won the toss. After just 6 minutes, Puskás went on to make his mark. 2 minutes later, a setback became a disaster when a mix-up in the German defence left Hungary 2 up.
It's true that if a goal is scored against you straight away in the 6th minute, and then another one in the 8th, to go 2-0 down, it's already critical for a team. But we didn't let it get to us. We didn't stick our heads in the sand.
As coach Sepp Herberger looked on, it would be one of his phrases that inspired Fritz Walter to rally his team.
Und dann guckte ich so rüber zu ihm.
And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and Max, and then he said to me, "Don't worry." That's literally what he said. Always remember what Sepp keeps saying. When the 90 minutes are over, then we'll do the accounts.
Dann tun wir abrechnen.
With Fritz Walter driving them forward, it would only take 2 minutes for a new entry to appear in those accounts.
Von dort zu Rahn, Rahn und Tor! Tor für Deutschland! Tor! Es steht nur noch 2:1. 10 Minuten sind gespielt. Der Schuss von Rahn aus Linksaußenposition.
The swift German reply allowed them to gather momentum, and they now pressed on in the search for the equalizer. Cracks began to appear in the Hungarian defence as the Germans forced a series of corners.
Heute spielt Deutschland stärkstes Aufbot.
Helmut Rahn, known as the boss, had made it 2-2. But the Hungarian goalkeeper felt the goal should never have been allowed.
Kimentem.
I came out to try and catch it or parry it away, and Schaefer jumped up with me, grabbed me from behind and pulled me to the ground. The referee was standing 5 meters away, so there's no way he couldn't have seen it.
Nem igaz, hogy nem látta.
Before, they'd been running around the pitch with their chests swollen with pride. And after we came back to 2-2, their heads began to drop a bit.
With a little luck and some resolute defending, the Germans continued to contain the Hungarians for the remainder of the first 45 minutes. And at half-time, the mood in the dressing room was determined.
Herberger said to us, "Men, think very carefully about what you have achieved. Watch the Hungarians for a bit. See how nervous they are."
Herberger knew us. We were on fire now after this 2-2. He had no more tactical advice, but just said, "Go out there and become world champions."
In the second half, the Germans faced a barrage of Hungarian attacks. But they didn't capitulate. This wasn't going to be another 8-3.
There's a lot of Hungarian opportunities and not that many German opportunities. The German defense with goalie Toni Turek was heavy under attack. You know, and very rarely Germany really had any scoring opportunities.
The battle continued without a breakthrough until the 83rd minute.
The ball came past the left-hand side to Hans Schäfer, and Hans Schäfer centered. They didn't head the ball to the side, but headed it into the path of Helmut Rahn.
The boss reached the ball. I shouted my head off. I shouted, "Boss! Boss!" And he only had to play across to me and I could have scored. But then he made a start with it, as if he wanted to play it to me.
Abgewehrt, aus dem Hintergrund müsste Rahn schießen. Rahn schießt! Tor! Tor! Tor!
Tor!
Tor!
Tor! Tor! You know, they still sometimes play that in the German Premier League when a goal is scored.
Tor! 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 Tor!
Herbert Zimmermann's commentary was being listened to across Germany by millions gathered around their radio sets in amazement. Unbelievably, Germany was beating the magnificent Hungarians. With only 6 minutes to go, they were hanging on to his every word.
Zimmermann was appealing to the clock. Tick faster, tick faster. I found that brilliant. Tick faster, but it ran with Swiss precision, not the slightest bit faster.
Then, with only seconds remaining, Puskás broke through the German defense.
They'd already started celebrating drawing level at 3-3. But if you watch the film again, you see I ran into the goal with my arms raised up and waved offside.
Only when the referee clearly pointed to the offside point. Only then did everyone take a deep breath 3 times and thought, thank God that was a close shave.
Aus! 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 Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister! Schlägt
Aus! Aus!
Over, over, over. The game is over. Germany is a world champion.
As Fritz Walter was awarded the trophy, the Hungarians looked on in dismay. The idea of defeat had never been contemplated.
When we stood in front of the grandstand to be awarded our medals, and the German anthem began to sound out, I suddenly realized that's when I took in the fact, oh no, something has happened here which really wasn't in the script.
Valami olyan történt, ami nem volt a forgatókönyvben leírva.
The victory would become known as the Miracle of Bern, and for Herberger, it would seal his place in German history.
The players had no idea of the commotion Zimmermann had caused at home. That's where the grand scenes were played out.
The victorious players really had no idea what was waiting for them back home.
We first set foot on German soil in Singen, and there were thousands of people there standing right at the station, and they wouldn't let the train through.
They didn't say they are world champions. The whole crowd said, we are world champions. And of course, that was the be-all and end-all. The whole of Germany were world champions.
For the first time since the war, the German people had something to celebrate. Something to be proud of.
The us feeling for so many people in Germany after the war that was suddenly there again.
As well as instilling a new sense of togetherness, the 1954 World Cup victory marked the beginning of an economic revival in West Germany.